Super Dave here with episode 34 of figures, playsets, and accessories that will work well with MOTU, Masterverse, or Classics. Here we go. We're looking at, first of all, Mortal Kombat 10 Goro. Just take a look at this behemoth. Awesome looking image of the action figure right there, close up, that wraps around over on into the next part of the box. And then we have a cool product shot of him, glossy there. Awesome looking specimen. They definitely, I think, improved on him on this version. Like the ponytail doesn't fall out all the time. There's some more meat to his physique as far as like anatomy. I think they really did some cool stuff with his clothing. And of course, it is a different rendition of him from a different Mortal Kombat game. But there's a little quick bio. If you'd like to read that, you can as well. But this character is just awesome. You see all these product shots and these poses you can get him in. He is just looking so cool. It's hard to kind of see the figure in the plastic because there's so much plastic between us and the figure. And we're going to solve that right now as we break open Goro here in just a moment over here in the Dark Eternian Forest. And for members only, you can join Super Dave channel with the Buy Me a Coffee level or friend level or sponsor level. Any of you will get this video, but we're going to be taking a look at Sheeva, not She-Ra. We'll compare her to She-Ra, but this is Sheeva, 17 plus. Deep inside the evergreen forest, there's a darkness at night where creatures like Goro dwell. Kintaro back there, and He-Man is observing at a safe distance. And here is our Mortal Kombat 10 Goro, looking amazing. And if you were a member, you would also be seeing Sheeva right there beside him. Join Super Dave Reviews on any of the 3 levels to get special videos. But there is Goro. Let's first take a look at his accessories. And first of all, Goro comes with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 hand sculpts, these balled up fisted hands, and of course 4 of each. So you have kind of a spread out 3-fingered look. Then you have one where he's just kind of gesturing. They're bent different ways. And then you have like a clawing looking, bent in fingered kind of grabbing look. And then you have a real grabbing hand, clenched in hand. And again, there's 4 of each of these. And then we have 3 head sculpts. We have our yelling head sculpt. We have our grit, teeth, serious head sculpt. And then we have our more stoic, calm, but yet still serious and meaning business head sculpt. We also get this awesome necklace with jewels, actual jewels worked into those that necklace, like rubies, which are so cool. There's 1, 2, 3, 4 small ones and 1 big one there at the base. And just take a look at this loincloth. It's just awesome and very detailed. The bracers are really nice as well, just amazing. The work on this one compared to the other one. And then take a look at those shin guards. Man, they are just fabulous. We get kind of like 2.5 toes this time, but this time he has actually stable feet that we'll be looking at. This guy is amazing, and no more having to worry about ponytails falling out, because each head sculpt has its own ponytail mounted in fairly well, so we don't have to worry about them falling out. That is awesome, and that completes his accessories. Now let's take a look at our Goro's Articulation. And bringing our Prince Goro on in here a little closer, just take a look at that head sculpt. He is looking awesome. I just love the cuts and the muscularity, the chiseled look, the veins, the vascularity that are in the arms and chest and neck. He just has a dynamic look to him all the way around. Just take a look at that, you know, the, like, I guess birthmarks of the scales or whatever that go along with this clan, or this race, if you will, or this family. Forget all the ins and outs on that, but they're really well done and look really authentic and cool, and they are individually molded into the back. It's not just painted on, there is actual texture here. I like the hair. It's got a little bit more textualized appearance to it compared to the other Goro, which we'll look at in comparisons. Just look again at these gauntlets, just amazing, just looking amazing. This awesome loincloth, very soft material, really cool. Just look at these veins in the legs. Just check out how jacked these legs are, these quads. He is seriously doing leg day every week. But really awesome. And then the shins, the shin guards here, you got some kind of gold face biting the rings that hold around the straps that hold on this, and then you got almost like some straps in between the toes here. It's almost like a tiny toe here and then two, so it's like 1, 2 and a little piece of toe. But you definitely get more sturdy feet this go around. You could hardly get the other Goro to stand up, but they definitely have learned a lot since those days. It's been quite a while back, and you can look at my video on that other Goro, but this is just phenomenal. I mean, I was not going to get him because I already had the other one, but when I really started looking at images and I watched D Amazing's review on him, I had to get him, especially to go along with my Sheeva that you can watch if you are a member. But just take a look at this head sculpt. He's going to be able to look up. Oop, without moving that, he's going to be able to look up a really good amount, and that's probably not all that he'll be able to do, because again, you can bend that head back, but he's going to be able to look up a really good amount. He's going to be able to look down all the way. You're also going to be able to get, of course, full pivot. Just look at those eyes. They just look so menacing, almost like they're crystals, like they're transparent up in there somehow or another. That is amazing. Just take a look at that. Awesome looking eyes. But yeah, he gets really good head articulation. You're going to be able to go all the way around. That looked kind of weird, but you see what I mean. It's very flexible and soft up here, this part here. And then he's going to be able to go up way better than a T-pose with those top arms, as well as pretty much a T-pose with the bottom arms. They're not going to go up quite as far as the other. And again, you can adjust the chest to make up for some of the gapping here. But these arms are really cool. So you're going to be able to, of course, get full 360 with these arms. You do have a butterfly joint that's going to allow you, and you're going to have to compensate for some of this soft rubber, but you're going to be able to punch and get him to cross over his arms. Again, you have to adjust some of this to get the right look that you're trying to achieve by kind of pulling stuff down and kind of pinching it in. But you can get the butterfly joints to work, because you always have this with Storm. You have this extra piece here that's used to kind of cover up some of that as it goes in and out, but you're going to see sometimes it's going to slip out and do some pinching, so you have to be careful of that. Again, adjusting these, And while we're at it, before we go to look at the other arms, let's go ahead and take a look at this diaphragm. You're going to be able to bend forward about that much with that diaphragm piece. That's the upper chest part. Then you're going to be able to bend back, but again, it is going to gap unless you just really kind of pull it down and manipulate it. You're going to be able to bend back just slightly. I was able to achieve about that much working on it a little better, trying to pull this down before getting gappage, and even bending a little bit back with this waist, and you begin to see the belly button and more of the abs before you get too much gapping and pinching in the back or in the front. So you can see he bends back about that much, and so that's really cool. And of course with Storm Collectibles, all of this up in here, all of those gear works, you have to kind of keep an eye on and kind of shape and get where you want it, but you will be able to kind of, you know, maneuver side to side as well, like that, and even get some more range kind of like that. So you can see how he's bending to the right there, or your left, and you can do the same the other direction, like so. I'm having to pause it so that I can kind of manipulate it, but you can see the gappage and the way it does. So there's just so much to work with here that he's like, oh, that's gross. But see, by the time you kind of tuck some stuff in, you're going to still be able to achieve what you want at the various angles that you need, depending on what angle you're coming at him. But you're going to be able to get some awesome posing of that upper chest with the flexibility of that soft rubber. It may be a pain sometime to cover up gaps and get all the gear works going in the right way, but kind of like what we see with some other lines that have just super articulation, it comes at a cost. You're going to have to just work with it. It's almost like art, and so that's pretty much what you get here. But you're also going to be able to, you know, bend forward a little bit at the waist and bend back here at the waist, as you see, and turn at the waist like you can see there. And so all of that works great. You do have bicep swivel here. You have double jointed, and because of this real thick gauntlet and the cuffs that come around, it really does easily pop off these hands. So you have to kind of get them, you know, tightly placed where you want them. But you do have double jointed elbows, which still get 90 even with the girth of that bicep. But I will have you notice here about this, that the second set of arms are quite a bit smaller in girth than the upper arms. So they kind of, I guess, kind of hover in the background a little bit, because otherwise you would think, that's weird. He's got smaller arms down there. But I guess it's really more supposed to be an illusion, more than just, you know, that he didn't develop them as well as he did his upper arms. So, you know, these are supposed to kind of stand out in the front, and these are kind of supposed to be in the background. So they still have a lot of shape to them. They're just not as huge and massive and built as we see this set of arms, like here. See the bicep depth here, the belly of the bicep on both sides. You have it here, but it's just a little smaller in girth. But you're not really going to be able to, I guess you could if you move this out of the way. Yeah, you can still do 360. You still have bicep swivel. You just don't get the butterfly joint effect fully. I mean, it goes in and out a little bit, but not near as much as the upper part. And like I already said, you're not going to be able to get more than just a T-pose. And then about a 90-degree bend at those double jointed elbows. They still have double jointed elbows, and they look good. They look good doing what they do. Again, you're going to have a little issue with those hands wanting to pop off because of the girth of those gauntlets, and they are a bit smaller down here than they are up here, which again makes sense because that is kind of in the background. So again, just take in consideration, if you're new to Storm Collectibles, that there is a lot of articulation possibilities, but you're just going to have to work on it to get it to where you want to. All right, going on to the legs, he's going to get full splits. I mean, they have excellent leg articulation, and there's kind of like a subtle ratcheting, not like a huge ratchet, but it's really nice and stiff and tight here. You have a nice quad thigh rotation there. You do get double jointed knees, which will bend better than 90 degrees there. And you see how high he'll kick up. That's really good. And that it will bend back a good amount all the way back here. You can see how that goes. And it looks good doing it. And you got a little cover here to show. And then this foot is going to bend just about full tip toes. Go up, not very much, but enough to make a point. And then you do get toe articulation, which I don't want to bend these because I don't use it that much, but it will bend all the way up. But a lot of times once you bend it, it gets loose, and I want him to be able to stand without any problems. But there is a toe articulation, and there's also rocker joints, which this one's pretty tight on this side. Let me try this one. You don't get a whole lot of rock on that. Just a little bit, but not like a whole bunch. Not like you do in some lines or even some Storm Collectibles, but you do get a small rock there. But there again, I appreciate that they're tight because he's such a heavy figure that way hopefully he can stand up better than the first Prince Goro did. But he is looking fabulous, back and front. You see the back of that loincloth, the straps, the buckles back here, just all the way around. This guy is massive and amazing. He is cool. All right, now let's do some comparisons with our Goro. And here our two muscle-bound Goros are. On the right, we have Storm Collectibles' first Goro, Prince Goro. And then on the left, we have our new Mortal Kombat 10 Goro. You can see how different they look in the face. Similar, of course, facial feature, but at the same time, it just seems like there's a little bit more of a fleshed out detail here. And this is excellent too. Maybe a little bit smaller. Just a totally different type muscularity form here than what we have over here. Just different. Love the abs over here, and even the way the pectorals are kind of flexed and tight, whereas here they're just a little bit more filled out but less flexed looking maybe compared to over here. Like this is like he's almost, you know, pulling them in with a flex ripple, and here a little bit maybe more relaxed here. Maybe even more of an aged looking Goro over here too, possibly even. The arms seem to be the same size for both sides on this Goro, whereas here, as we've said, the top arms are huge. The second set of arms are a little bit smaller here. The legs are very muscular on both sides, but one of the things I didn't like on this one is you could always see like the guts behind the underoos. I call them here the little, you know, covering, whereas over here you've definitely got more, and looks, you know, just really high quality. The work on the loincloth area and belt area here. And then over here you just have the wraps on his feet. The ankles are really weak. These two toes, just small feet, and it's hard to get him to stand sometimes unless you just have him just right. Whereas this guy has a little bit more of a firm foundation. There's more of a platform to work with, and they're tighter and just more quality feeling the feet are. And then the wraps, or these shin guards rather, are just really amazing. But as far as the girth of the legs, I don't know. I think they're about tit for tat. The shadowing here, the thickness, probably about the same. Definitely not the same legs as far as like reusable parts, but just, you know, about the same muscularity and thickness here. And it's a different color. You have a kind of a darker tan over here, and then more of a almost, I don't know, just a tad more yellow maybe in this, but not bad. And just overall amazing. But you can see, you know, the details, and it's like touching real skin, that rubber feeling. I don't know, it looks like the shoulders, the traps are just really really jacked around his neck area, and maybe it's because of the necklace, but you don't see that as much come out here, but it's still, I mean, he's still a buff fella. There's no doubt about it. Let's look at him from the back right quick. Now here we have a very big difference. You know, you just have a shading back here with these spots and these markings, almost like fur with leopard almost print on there, whereas this has more of a tattoo feel, where it's like scales or like texture like we showed you earlier. And of course you can see, you know, his cakes are very flexed and toned there, where you don't see that here as much because of the loincloth. The back of the legs, you can see the calf muscles on this side, whereas this side you're covered up with your shin guards and everything. But definitely some muscular curves and cuts here in this back, whereas you can definitely see it here, but it don't look as flexed, maybe, if you want to put it that way. So, and definitely the ponytail is slender and less detailed here, where you have more detail and just more fullness here. And this one doesn't come off unless you were to break the glue or something, whereas this one you were supposed to share this same ponytail with both heads, and so it falls off and falls out all the time. I've even lost it before, not being able to find it, and so appreciate the fact that they did it differently on this Goro. And here's our Mortal Kombat Goro 10, along with our first Storm Collectible Goro, and then Kintaro. You can see how these four armed beasts match up together, looking amazing. And I definitely think there's just, I don't know, something like a more of a realism to the newer one here, and just the depth and maturity, maybe even an aged look. Maybe this was Goro in his younger years, a little bit more ripped, a little bit more tight. And then you have him over here. I don't know, that's kind of the way it looks to me, but looking awesome. I like the way he's decked out with his necklace, and I like the ponytail, I like all these different improvements that they made. I love the feet. So I think it's a cool looking look here, and it's just amazing. Now let's look at our Prince Goro next to some Masterverse figures. And here is our Goro next to our Masterverse Thunder Punch He-Man, as well as Mechaneck. He's like, you're not so tall, dude. There's Clawful back there as Kintaro's, he's bringing up the rear, as well as our Beast Man over here cheering him on, leading our Goro into action. And then there is Snout Spout back there joining the fray with the good guys, as well as Men-at-Arms, and they are coming at him. That is looking cool. Just take a look at that. That's awesome. And here is our Goro standing next to Snout Spout and Revolution Battle Armor He-Man, as well as the Red Dragon, and even the Axe Battler over here. And you can see how he towers over even these other Storm Collectible figures from the Axe Battler franchise. The Red Dragon is maybe about the same height as Goro if he stands up tall enough, but just really cool. You see Goro's kind of making fun of He-Man's height there. So you can see how they measure up. Looking amazing though. You can definitely work these in together. I mean, yeah, there's a realism to Goro compared to the Masterverse, but you could definitely have fun with these together. As a giant, you know, characters, a line of giants, a clan of giants that He-Man has to deal with in Eternia. And there is our Goro next to a Masters of the Universe Classics Battle Armor He-Man, and you can see just how much he towers over this Classics Battle Armor He-Man. And then there is Motaro, and he is even taller than Motaro. He's not four-armed, but he's four-legged. And you can check out my review on him. Big Bad Toy Store still has these in stock, so you can get these awesome looking figures to go along with either your classics or with your Masterverse figures, and I think they really work well together. I think it's just looking cool, looking great. can see he can hold that weapon in his hand, and that is King Shao Kahn's, one of his translucent weapons. We'll look at him beside Goro next here. And here is the 40th anniversary San Diego Comic-Con 2-pack He-Man with the flocked loincloth, but I do have a classics vintage style head on him. And there he is standing beside Goro, Shao Kahn, Kintaro, and MOTU. All of them together here looking fabulous, just looking amazing, awesome, intimidating, and cool looking. Each and every one of them. Yeah, looking great. Love this Shao Kahn. He's looking amazing. There they are. And thank you so much for joining us again for this Super Day review. It's been fun looking at this awesome action figure by Storm's Collectible, and here we have all 4 or 5, counting MOTU. They're just looking awesome and beastly and fantastic. Please come and see us again. Look forward to seeing you next time. And here's some photos in the photo gallery. Be blessed.